what if the manager discriminating against me is the same race or sex as me? Does that weaken my claim? Carol, it's not ideal, right? Now, listen, I'll say this. So listen, in terms of race claims, I can give you a lot of examples, right? Like, people will have Caribbean American versus African American versus African immigrant discrimination cases in like a triangle of discrimination. And that happens a lot, especially on the East Coast. I don't know about the West Coast, but I see it in New York a lot. And those cases are a little extra complex because the average jury says, but they look alike, right? Like, I don't, what do you mean? They're all, to me, the juror, they're very similar here. What do you mean it's this case? And so in those situations, you look at, well, what's going on? Like, is this a national origin claim? Like that triangle, the Caribbean American, African American, and the African immigrant, those tend to be national origin claims, not race. And you step away from the race claim and look at the national origin because that's actually what's going on there. There's this notion that the three originating geographic areas, I should say, there's notions about those three populations held by the other two, right? And vice versa. So there's a lot of extra education that has to get done in a case like that, where the common juror is going to say, I don't get it, right? Another example would be, and famously, I had an investigator on a case once. We had different ethnic populations from mainland China working in the States. And in the same facility, there was a lot of discrimination between those ethnic groups. And the investigator kept saying, Chinese is Chinese. And I kept being like, ma'am, they don't even speak the same language. They are from as far away from each other as you can be and be within China. And their cultures are not similar. Like, you're saying, what she was saying at the core was, because they're from the same nation of origin, they can't be different ethnic groups. Lady, investigator, director. That's like saying American citizens can't discriminate against each other as different ethnic groups just because they have a common language of English that they tend to be able to speak to each other, right? Like, that argument is ridiculous. And you have to educate around that argument, because you will get ignorant people, jurors, investigators, generally not judges really so much, who are going to say things like, Chinese is Chinese. Just like, I want to murder you, you ignorant piece of shit. But listen, you have those fights.